We're all now live, so thanks everybody for tuning in today. This is the last of the of the AGPE meetings. Thank you guys for staying with us to the very end. So we want to welcome Evan from the Morristown Club. Is it Morristown or Morristown AM, Evan? I always get you two guys mixed up.
Yeah, I'm with the Noon Club.
You're with the Big Noon Club. Okay. Well, we're glad to have you. Glad to have you here. And with us here, Evan, we got Doug, who's from the Lafayette Club, and Carol from the Hartsville Club, right, Carol? I think that's right.
Yes, sir.
That's right. And then of course you got your district governor right now nominee, Cindy Gammons, for the next few weeks, and then Assistant Governor Barry Doss. So thanks everybody for being here. We may get one or two join in, but we'll just have to wait and see. Poor Cindy, is this your fourth one now, Cindy, you've been in on? So
yes, my fourth one. It is.
Not that she's counting, but obviously she is. So anyway, I guess thank you, but
I keep coming back. So
keep coming back for more. She's figured that maybe I'll get it right one of these days. So at this point, though, it doesn't matter because this is the last one, so it'll be fine. Well, Rotary opens opportunities, and boy, did we get some opportunities here. As I've been saying to everybody else, normally there's opportunities are out there for the people who are, ready to go out and grab them. But sometimes opportunities come to you, whether you want them or not. And we all fall into the category of number B here. Things have come to us that we didn't anticipate. So we have some challenges, but I guess my first question for you PEs is, how are you guys doing physically, mentally? Are you ready to go? How you feel? Evan, I'm going to ask you first.
Well, I'm getting there. I'm having trouble. Right now we're fixing to start having live meetings back next week. So we're trying to get a head count, make sure everybody's coming back. A couple folks that I had in mind for positions on my team have had to resign just due to the circumstances from their job. But I'm trying to be creative and keep those people involved because they're very important to our club. Good service people.
Yeah, well, let me the follow-up question to that. Now, did those people just resign from their positions, or did they resign from the club?
From the club, we had a couple that were paid by their employer. Their employer cut it out. Yeah. And one of them too. So she works for a bank. The bank was closed on Wednesdays and they would work on Saturdays, and they recently flipped that. So she's now working on Wednesdays, which is when we meet.
Right.
But I'm trying to scratch that itch with doing now that we're used to these virtual meetings, just keep them going.
Yeah.
And let people that can't be there physically still sign in and look. So we're going to have a hybrid next week, kind of get the ball rolling. But I'm getting there. I have Don Baldus in my club, so I have a lot of knowledge and a lot of help through him.
And a pusher. He'll push.
And a pusher.
He won't let you slack off. That's for sure. So, Doug, how are you doing?
Doing good. As you know, we've got a pretty active club, and with help from Cindy and Barry and stuff, I mean, the support staff is tremendous. Last week, I mentioned last week we went back live. I think that was a step. I won't say a step in the right direction. I feel it was the right direction, but it again, seeing seeing them face to face makes a world of difference. Actually seeing somebody and interacting, and some people really, really think highly of the things we've done with staying away from COVID, and others just kind of, it's an afterthought, and some people were shaking hands and everything else. So hopefully we'll be back to normal, or a new normal here soon. I'm here in a couple of weeks, I guess, ready to go over. As far as the committees and stuff, a little bit, and I don't know if this is the norm or not. Mark and I, and then Cindy and Barry, we kind of discussed that with our committees and stuff, the way that we announced it yesterday in our meeting, and the way that we thought is that if somebody, wanted to change committees or possibly run for a committee chair or, then to let us know. But other than that, for the most part, we would keep everybody kind of where they are. And the thought process is that we kind of shuffled them not too long ago, a year or two ago. And it seems like by the time you start to get a hang of what you're doing, we move you. So, I mean, there's pros and cons to it, but, we might get a Rotarian or two that says, I really want to be in membership and I'm not, so we'll move them. But
Yeah.
it's kind of where we are right now.
Okay. And Carol, how about Hartsville?
Well, we got back into live meetings. I think it's been 5 weeks ago, but this was outside meetings. We met under a pavilion there in Hartsville and practiced social distancing, several masks involved in regard to wearing masks. But the meetings were very cordial. It was good to be back to see one another. And that's remained the same for a couple of weeks. And then it had a bad forecast. And so we moved to another venue, but it's still outside, but just a different pavilion. And that's been very, very nice, really having enjoyed it. And so we've been about 5 weeks now in this pattern, and we've gotten to see one another, have good fellowship. And so we continue to just plod along. We had our business meeting today and basically voted in the budget for 2021 and had some good discussions. We got a good group of guys in Hartsville, and we're very thankful for them. And Lord help them when I become the president. That's about to happen. And so we just pray the Lord's blessing upon them being so foolish as to ask me to be their president. So anyway, and me so foolish for assenting to it. But no, I think everything is plowing along very well.
How's your turnout been for the past? Has it been pretty consistent?
Yeah, pretty consistent. We usually have around 20 plus. We've actually had several guests in the last few weeks. And so we've had guests come in, and I think we had 3 today, or 4, maybe 4 guests today. So there has been somewhat of a recovery, and yet, hey, listen, the coronavirus still looms real large in front of all of us, I do think. And I don't think it's going away anytime soon. So we're thinking about getting back into the restaurant that's reopening in a couple of weeks. And so there's a little uncertainty about that right now.
Yeah. I can certainly understand that. Okay. Well, you all started talking about some of the first topic that we had, and that's, things that we need to be doing or have done or should have done by now and have, 30 days to do or so. Club officers is obviously one of them, and it sounds like you've all been working on them, or you either got them done or you're just about got them done. Want to make sure you get them into my Rotary so that we've got that all lined up. You were inundated with all sorts of emails about the district training assembly next week, so try to get your folks to attend those for the various sections that applies to them. We're hoping that for a real good turnout, because it's going to be 1 hour, well, except for the secretary, but the rest of them are 1 hour, and they're virtual, no travel at night. Hopefully that'll fit most people's schedule. We'll see. Have you tried on your theme shirts? That's the next question.
That was a large.
Well, I've still got to get some of mine out. So no, they've not tried theirs on yet. My schedule has been way too busy, but I ran into Carol the other day, but wasn't expecting to see him, so I didn't have it.
And I'm looking for that from you. I haven't got mine yet.
Well, I think Doug, you got yours, all right?
No,
I was going to say, Carol, don't feel bad. I haven't gotten mine either.
Okay. Yeah. So, Evan, have you gotten yours from David?
Hopefully I can get those out soon.
Yeah.
Okay. And then did it fit? Well, it's probably a little bit big, but it's okay.
It's big for a large, but I got it.
Yeah, I have a large too, and it's most of the guys shirt, and I guess Barry, you have all guys, don't you? You don't have any women in your group this time, so you're going to be okay, because what's happened is the men's shirts are all running comfortable. Let's put it that way. Maybe a little bit large, right? And the women's shirts are not so good. They're running the exact opposite. They're running a little bit tight, and of course, we'd much rather have a shirt that's a little too big than a shirt that's a little too small. So we're having to swap out some of the ladies, but when you get a chance, Barry, get them out and, let me know if you've got any swap and needing, but I'd be surprised if you do. I think all the guy shirts are going to, turn out okay. So Cindy, I didn't get you a shirt yet, did I?
Oh, I'm still waiting on mine.
Your day is going to come. Well, we're going to have to figure out what size because of all this deal with what fits or not. Maybe one of these meetings I'll bring something over to, or get something to you, and you can try 2 or 3 of them on or something. Figure out which
All right.
one works. So,
That's fine.
but basically, all the ladies are running about a size smaller than they think that they should. So,
Right.
and we ran into some problems that we're going to use some men's shirts to help make it work for some of the ladies. That'll be fine. So, okay, what have I got next? So, okay, well, again, and you guys start talking about committees, and some of you have been working on your goals and budgets. So, let's make sure that we get that going. And I'll talk a little bit about goals later. Meeting with your boards is pretty important to get that done. But again, it sounds like you three have started your homework on that and are moving along okay. Membership roles, and this gets back to Evan, what you were talking about a while ago. If you've got a couple of people who are aren't going to come back, you want to get them off by June 30th if they're really not coming back.
Yes, we had a board meeting yesterday, and we've identified a couple of folks that we know probably won't be coming back, and a couple of folks that haven't been paying, haven't been there, haven't been inactive. So we're working on cleaning those up.
Okay, yeah, and I always recommend that if people are going to drop and you've got no chance of saving them, then you're going to drop them, then drop them, and don't do it on the 30th. Do it a couple days, prior to that if you can. And if you have any new members that you were going to hold off until July 1st, well, then hold off until July 3rd or 4th or 5th. As Rotary does some real weird counting things on June 30th and July 1st, so it's in everybody's best interest for you to just stay away from those 2 days. Just stay away from them, and you'll be much better off doing those kinds of things. If you haven't completed the online course about preventing and addressing harassment, you need to do that. Rotary International takes that seriously. I take it seriously. Cindy and Barry take it seriously, and I know you guys take it seriously too. So, it's important for all of us as leaders that we take that course, and it'll only take you about a half an hour. In a lot of cases, if you haven't been on the Learning Center yet, it'll take you as long to find it than it will to actually do the course. It's not as hard as it sounds, but well, you all know if you've been on my Rotary, sometimes it's not as easy to find things as it needs to be. So, but the course isn't that bad, and it literally 25, 30 minutes and you'll be done. So, okay, 3 things that I need from you regarding pictures. Number 1, I need an individual photo, headshot of you that I can put in the district directory. Normally this gets done at pets, and the pets guy gives us the pictures, and you guys don't have to do any of this, but of course there's no pets, so there's no pictures, so I've got to get them from each one of you. And please send it to me on email. Do not send it on, do not send it on my phone or by text. And I also found out today, don't forward me a Facebook page because I can't get it off of there either. So you've got to get the picture if you want it, to make it work.
Ron, can you take the pictures that are already on DACPB?
I don't think I can get them. You can probably get it off of there and forward it to me, though, I would guess.
Okay, will do.
I can't guarantee that. Jennifer LaRue is our district directory chair, and she probably can do that, but I don't know. So I'm not taking any chances. I'm saying just go ahead and send me a picture, and we'll just take it from there. Number 2, when you get all your shirts and you get a chance to actually meet in person, then try to get a nice group photo, the AG and all the PEs, together. Because my plan is to put every AG and group with the PEs in the district directory. I want our team up front in the front of this thing, because you guys are the ones doing all the work. You guys are going to make the difference in your clubs for this year. So I want to have pictures of everybody up there. Showing your group unity. You're going to do a lot of good things working together. Number 3, And I want one of the following two options, okay? Just one of the following two. Either a picture of a service project, show some Rotarians doing some nice service project, or show me a picture or send me a picture of your Rotarians having some fun at one of your fundraisers. Either one, doesn't matter.
All right.
And give me a one short sentence description of it. And again, the idea is here, we're going to work that stuff in either the district directory or the district newsletter or both. Because, our clubs are doing lots of good things service-wise, doing lots of fun things with their fundraisers, and we need everybody to see what everybody is doing, because Rotaries are a lot about service and a lot about fellowship. So we want to get that word out and show that everybody's doing this, because we know everybody's doing it. Okay, well, we talked a lot about COVID already, and it is I believe it's going to be a short-term situation, but I think, Carol, you said we don't know how long this is going to last. It will get over eventually, but we just don't know what the outcomes are coming over for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. Who knows, right?
That's right.
But it will get solved eventually. I mean, we do have the best medical minds in the whole world working on it. Surely sooner or later something's going to come up and make it so that it's comfortable for everybody. But until it gets comfortable for everybody, we got the challenge of meetings. And of course, Rotary is, and I am too, encouraging all those of you that, when you can meet live in person, according to, safety guidelines, and obviously, you should do it when you're comfortable, ready and ready to go, and you have a place to meet. But you also need to be trying to provide a virtual opportunity for those members who can't come, because you're going to have people who can't come because they're uncomfortable meeting in a large group, or they might have somebody in their house who, they might be okay, but they might be living with someone who's a high risk person, or, something like that. So yeah, we're going to, quite frankly, and you guys all know this, we're going to have some people in our clubs who are not going to show up until there's a vaccine, period.
Right.
And we're going to have some people in our clubs who, and they'll come when they know that they can't die from it. Right now we got people who are dying from it. Well, having some sort of relatively safe preventative thing that way and having a vaccine are two different situations that are being worked on. And some people are going to say, I need one or the other before I show up. And so we got to try to be cognizant of those folks as well. One thing about Zoom is you got lots of options come from Zoom. I mean, you can get speakers now that wouldn't normally come to your club because of timing and travel and stuff. So, there's opportunities,
right.
Tons of opportunities for that. Jim Roxell got off lucky yesterday, because I think for the first time I didn't mention the fact that he does a real good program that everybody ought to see on Positive Peace. So if you're looking for a nice program early in your year or sometime in your year, ask Jim to come tell you about Positive Peace, because he's one of 26 Positive Peace activators in the world, which is kind of a cool thing. And our district is on the cutting edge of the Positive Peace movement with the Rotary, which is relatively new. So, it's something that most of your clubs don't know anything about and they would find interesting. And oh, by the way, it counts toward one of your Globe Club qualifications too. So you get kind of a twofer out of that deal. You get a real good program and you get something to check off your list. So, but those kinds of things are out there. You should also, keep in mind that whether you're doing it live or virtually, Rotary has a theme 10 out of the 12 months of the year. And one of your club meetings for that month could be whatever the Rotary theme is. And that could be somebody in your club talking about it. It could be somebody in the district coming talking about it. It could be somebody from RI talking about it. So lots of opportunities, to make that happen as well. And some clubs record their meetings. They have it available for people afterwards too. So I know that Bearden's been doing that for years, and there may be other clubs. That may be an opportunity for you to think about as well. I think this might be a time for some of your clubs might be doing what I call member moments, where they spend 2 to 5 minutes at a club meeting and have a different club member every week talk about who they are, where they're from, what they used to do or what they are still doing, and family stuff and that kind of thing. And this might be a real good time to do something like that, because we've been disconnected a little bit for a while, and now we can all kind of reintroduce ourselves to each other. You never know what you might find out from somebody that you thought you knew, or you may find out you don't know a lot of people in your club. I mean, you know, Karen and I travel so much that we've had a lot of new members come, you know, in our club in the past 3 years, and we don't know half of them. You know, I hate to say that, but we don't, because we're not there often enough. And, you know, so we're going to try to get our incoming president to bring the member moments back to our club so we can get to know some of them as well. How about fundraising? Who's been impacted by fundraising so far? Evan, how about you? I see you're, oh, okay. I can see lots of hands up. Evan, I'll let you go first. Tell me about you. Carol, you can go next.
Our main fundraiser we call Margaritaville, and it's a banquet style live and silent auction. We have a Jimmy Buffett style musician come in and sing, and it was going to be our best year, I think, because we have a Mexican restaurant. We rented out, had outdoor patio. I mean, it just fit the bill, and we missed it. You know, we do it around Cinco de Mayo, so it's right around the 1st of May. And we've made the decision. So we had a project that that we wanted to do that wasn't a lot of money, wasn't a lot of cash. It's going to take a little elbow grease, but we actually had the funds in the club to go ahead and do that with a grant. So it didn't impact our project, but we had several little projects. Like we had a RAM that was scheduled for Morristown, a rural area medical thing that we were, you know, contributing to and helping with. That got postponed and canceled. So it's really changed for one, our fundraiser for the year. We're just going to kick it to next year, but two, our you know, a lot of our projects that we had, our smaller community projects, got kind of booted out of the way. Things canceled and restructured, and so I don't even know. We've got a couple things we're working on to try to fit in towards the end of the year, but it's going to make it a little difficult doing service projects too.
Yeah, you've got it. Yeah, you've got both fundraising and service project issues there. Carol, tell us a little bit about Hartsville.
Well, we voted in our budget today and didn't change things a bit hardly. I mean, there's no question that our fundraiser, our main fundraiser, has been delayed. We have actually an ongoing, it's probably 15th or 20th annual Rotary golf tournament, and we usually have 100 players or more. And this takes place in usually mid to early May, and I look forward to it just like a kid. Matter of fact, I only golf once or twice a year, and that's it. But never do any good at it, never win any prizes, but at the same time have a great time. And we actually sell advertisements regarding sponsorships to this, and that has been a major raiser for us, Will. We probably receive in probably $15,000 at our golf tournament, and then there are expenses associated with it. We'll usually receive about 10 that we can use for service projects, but we moved it to August the 29th. I hope it's not 105 degrees outside that day rather than early May, but it's usually 75 or 80, but we're hopeful for a good turnout there. But that one is the one that's been mostly impacted, but now we've got others that maybe will not be impacted. We just don't know what's right out in front of us. Most of the rest of ours are down in the fall, and so we have a fishing tournament, we have a skeet shoot, we have a little bit of everything in that regard. We have a mother and daughter, a father and daughter dance and a mother and son dance that we sponsor, and those two things have grown exponentially.
Yeah,
I mean,
and they all happen in the fall?
Having to move venues around because we've got so many people.
Yeah.
And these happen in the fall mostly.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, you know,
we have one. I mean, I think that the mother son dance, I think, is after the first of the year.
Yeah. Well, you know, one good thing about doing your golf tournament in August is that, you know, half the districts in our club do golf tournaments, and most of them are changed it to October. So
Oh, really?
at least you won't be competing with them, because I don't know how these golf courses are going to handle all these tournaments that are being moved to October.
I don't know. I don't know that we won't do it in October.
Yeah,
We
that's
just
true. I mean,
tentatively
yeah,
move
I mean,
forward.
let's hope that you don't have to make that choice.
Yeah.
That would be good for everybody. So,
But we in faith believe all of this is going to work out, and so we believe our tournament will go on sometime later in the year, and I do think these other things will be there, and there will be a blessing attended there.
yeah, good. Doug, how about Lafayette? Any fundraising impacts yet or to come?
Actually, we've been blessed thus far. We've got, Carol mentioned the golf tournament. We've got an annual golf tournament that is set for end of this month in June. And thus far right now, it's still a go.
Okay.
Now we do have some local connections and stuff with the golf course. But they had a tournament a couple of weeks back and it was packed. So,
That's great.
That's good.
That's good. Right now it's on. We've got sponsors for it. That's probably one of our biggest fundraisers outside. A couple of years back, we kind of did a pancake breakfast, and we situation with the school and stuff, double kind of doing one at the same time. So we didn't do it last year. We might get back into it this year. On our calendar, we do a service project. Some big, some small, but we try to do something each month, and several of those are kind of more of a social distance type where you don't have to be in person. One of them is a blessing box that we do, and we fill up that we have outside of our the chamber office that we meet at each week. So that's something that, if we have an event that kind of falls off or has to be postponed, we've got some others I think we can pick up. But that'll be a topic I think in our next board meeting, is to let's look at the calendar, plan out. And we might need to readjust. We might need to move some stuff later, and rearrange what month we do what projects. But thus far, I think we're actually doing okay. We're doing pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. I think many clubs are concerned about their sponsors and whether or not they're going to be able to participate at all or at a lesser amount. So, and that obviously is varying considerably from club to club, because every town's been impacted, but the amount of the impact has been tremendously variable.
Right.
I mean, it's all been bad, but some of it in some places has been, disastrous. And fortunately, I think most of our areas haven't been hit as hard as a lot of the rest of the country, but it's still not a good situation for a lot of our sponsors.
Right.
And again, Evan was, talking about that. The same thing that hit his club is the same thing with any sponsorship there. If you got businesses who aren't paying Rotary, for their Rotary folks, they're not going to be sponsoring many things either. So something we all have to be working on. A couple of announcements I want to make for you guys, and you'll get this in writing, so you don't necessarily have to write this down. But I want to get another piece of paper because I want to read this to you, the more accurate thing about this. And I will be sharing this with your club secretaries if they attend the district training assembly next week too, by the way. Okay, number one, the district will no longer, and you can thank Cindy for being part of this too, by the way, because Cindy and I and Al Clark are all on board with this, okay? The district will no longer collect monthly attendance information. However, clubs are still strongly encouraged to continue tracking attendance by each club's methods, especially at club meetings, as one measure of club member engagement. We are not trying to change any club's methods or philosophy on attendance with this announcement. In other words, if your club is, into the 100% attendance stuff and all that stuff, keep doing it. We're not trying to discourage you from doing that at all. We're not trying to change anything that you're doing. This is simply an attempt to reduce the administrative burden on the clubs. With the new rule changes that you can do a makeup for 12 months and all the various ways that you can do that, attendance reporting statistically doesn't mean a whole lot anymore. It's never accurate, and sending it to the district every month, it was a waste of your club secretary's time, because the district doesn't do anything with it, and Rotary hasn't collected this for years. And so we're saying, no, well, then let's just stop doing it. We're gonna rely on the clubs to continue to do the right thing for their clubs in terms of tracking attendance, you know, I don't think anybody's going to change their message just because they don't have to report to the district. I know some past district governors don't think that's right, but I don't think it's going to. I think people are going to be happy. They'll say, "Hey, this is great. We're still going to do everything that we are, but now we don't have to fill out the stupid old report." So that's what we're hoping that we hear from this. So, okay, and number 2, the district will no longer collect service hours on a monthly basis. Again, clubs are still expected to track service activities. It's important that you know what your activities are and that you report some hours that you do in a manner best suited for your club in Rotary Club Central in an annual report that you need to do in a format that fits your club, and keeping your AG on board with that from time to time. Again, it gets back to, you want to know what your service activities are. You want to have a feel for who's participating in that, because it's a big member of club engagement. But whether you want to track every hour for every individual is totally up to you. And sending a report to the district does not help you do that, and the district doesn't do anything with it anyway.
Okay.
I know Greg wanted to try to collect stuff for this year. COVID's come along, and so anything anybody's done really doesn't mean anything, right? Because everybody stopped doing that stuff. And that really kind of brought home the issue about, well, why do we even need to do it on a district level anyway? I mean, we can, if you do what you're supposed to be doing anyway, which is to put your service activities and some estimated hours in my Rotary, the information's there. Why do it twice, right? So, any questions about either one of those? Are you guys okay with both of those? This is when you're supposed to shake your head up and down and say, yeah, we're fine.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I'm good.
All right.
Good.
And Cindy, nobody said, oh, that's a terrible idea. So to either one of them. So I think we're good to go there. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about the district calendar. And as you know, as you've seen a couple of iterations of it in the last few weeks, if you're talking about between July 1st and December 31st, the answer pretty much is cancel, cancel, cancel. But there are a couple of major exceptions that I want to make you aware of. Number one is we do plan to do the PETS orientations and the district grant trainings live in Crossville in September and October as planned. So your successors need to go. Yeah, Cindy's got double finger cross there. So Cindy and Barry want you make sure that your successors know that we're planning for them to be at either the September or October meeting. And I personally always recommend the September meeting, because that way, if something happens and you don't happen to make September, you got October for your fallback. So plus it gives you another month to get ready. Now that being said, we'll still have to offer something virtually, because Rotary basically is telling us as district governors and district governor-elects that we have to offer district programs virtually, at least for the next 6 months. So we'll have to offer those virtually as well. We won't make a big advertisement about that, because we want people to show up if they feel comfortable. But some people won't feel comfortable, so we've got to make it available to them, and that's fine. The other thing that we are planning to do right now, it's still on the agenda, is the Duncan Purple Pinky Day, which will be done on a Tuesday this year, because World Polio Day falls on a Saturday. And that's not a good day to be doing those kinds of things for lots of reasons. And what's probably going to happen moving forward is that Purple Pinky Day will probably permanently be, as long as we're doing it, at least it'll be on a Tuesday closest to World Polio Day, because that works out better for the production of the donuts and distribution and all that kind of stuff. So, but anyway, we are still planning to do it. And if it does, I'm hoping that we blow it out of the water, get our Rotaractors involved, get our interactors involved, get our club members involved, because it's a really easy way to raise money for polio. Everybody likes donuts, or they know someone who does like donuts. So, it's a really nice, fun project to do. So those two things are on there for that. In the spring, everything is still a go right now, and that includes the district team training seminar in February. It includes PETS in March. Again, for your president-elects, make sure they've got that on their calendar. And right now, the district conference cruise is still being planned to be done. But that being said, we also know there's some challenges there. So I will be sending you a survey on that with an email tomorrow morning, and I'll talk a little bit about that later because we want to look at some of the options. We know we have to have a plan B for a cruise because there's lots of things involved. Right now you've got 3 issues involved. Number 1, will COVID be done by then? Number 2, will the cruise industry be working by then, right? I mean, really working by then. And number 3, will people feel comfortable getting on a cruise ship until there's a vaccine in it? So those are 3 pretty big questions, right? So we have to have some alternatives lined up. And the other thing about the schedule is, next spring, I'm going to be telling you here in a minute that the district governor visits right now, barring any changes in the COVID situation, are going to all be virtual. Well, that means I won't be at your club until sometime after January, probably. But what you can do then is take a look at the district calendar for the second half of the year, for calendar 21, and look at the things that are scheduled that you can't get me on those days, and then then that means all the other days are open. And if you've got an event, a fundraiser or a service project that I could come see, I'll just wander over there and we'll say hi, because I sure want to get to every club at least once sometime during the year if I can, because that is one of the bright spots for our it may not be the bright spot for the club necessarily, but it is a highlight for the district governor, because we'd love to see our Rotarians, because that's one of the reasons why we want to try to take this job on, because it's all about people. Rotary's all about people, and we want to be with the people. So that's okay. That's all for the calendar stuff. The district governor citation. I know that you all talked about, Carol, you said you've got your budget done, so that means you probably got your goals pretty well lined up, at least mentally, if not physically into Rotary Club Central. But right now we're trying to be as positive as we can. We think this is going to be short term, and we think that our Rotarians are going to step up to the challenge of meeting what our district goals are. So we're not changing anything right now. We think that the clubs that are still very capable of being star clubs, globe polio eradicator clubs, doing service projects eventually, etc. So we're going to keep the district governor citation the way that it currently stands. Now, 3 months from now, we'll be like our clubs. If things have gone south on us, we'll all be relooking at that. And if that happens, and I hope it doesn't, but if it does, we'll adjust the district governor citation to make something that's more appropriate for our clubs, because we don't want to make an unreasonable burden on our clubs, because that's not why we have a district governor citation. It's really there to try to help guide you towards some of the things that we think is important for our district and for your Rotarians short and long term. The only addition to the district governor citation is our 100 in 100 program that I'm promoting for this year. The special project tied to 100 years of Rotary in Mexico. It's a strictly voluntary suggestion, but I have challenged each one of the AGs as a group to get their clubs together and try to consider doing one of the projects. We've got a list of 16 projects to choose from. Barry's got the list. He's been working on the list, and we think it's something that we can make things happen. I mean, even Evan, in your situation where you've got 4 really small clubs, there's a really small project out there that I think we could hook you guys up with.
And that's something that we actually wanted to get involved in, but I thought I saw something a few weeks ago saying that was off.
No, that's just a regular visit trip.
Okay.
The regular visitor. No, the whole 100 thing is on. Matter of fact, when I talked to the folks in Mexico 5 weeks ago, and I said, I asked them, first thing I asked them, I said, okay, we know you guys got all these problems. Do you want us to concentrate our projects on medical stuff? Because they've got serious medical problems. Well, of course, they've got serious everything problems. And their answer to us was, we don't want you to change anything you're doing. These projects are, were important before COVID, and they're going to be important once they get out of COVID and start working on projects, because their situation, it's not just their medical thing, it's their whole economic system is just going to be shot to crap. So anything we can do, and these are all projects that their communities asked for, anything we can do is going to be great for them. So that's very much still on, and they're very excited about the fact that we're still even just talking about it. So we're planning to move forward with it, and we're hoping that our Rotarians can step up and help our neighbors, and that's the short version of it. So you'll be getting another announcement about that program with the email tomorrow, as well as a list of the projects. Barry, if you want to talk about that now, or you want to do that later, that's up to you.
Well, I'll go ahead and talk about it some now. For like 13, me and Cindy had been talking about it probably about a week ago, and we looked at a project that's for clean water and for helping with bathrooms for a school system, and the total cost for that program was around $2,150. Of course, I used with 4 clubs in there. If we just broke it down, it'd be about basically around $20 per member with their current membership for those clubs. So not a huge investment for something our size, but it's something just Lafayette and Hartsville took on. It would probably increase our load some, basically cut it in half. So we'd be looking around $1,100 per club on that. Something we both, I think, could manage as far as for the size of our clubs. But I was hoping to get the 2 smaller clubs in Smith, Newton, and Carthage involved. They've not been as active in the district as Lafayette and Hartsville have been. It'd be a good opportunity to get their feet wet for not a lot of dollars. And so I've been to Mexico a couple of times myself, not in this particular area, but a lot of them have similar type issues, especially with water and clean water. And, and when you're looking for water and health for kids, we think about an air conditioner for our kids and keeping them cool. They're just thinking about good, clean water. And so their issues are a lot different from what our kids look like in school and things that they have, but it's all, keeping their mind focused on what they're and trying to learn more. So that's the project I would like for us to move forward with, and I'll talk with the clubs about that a little bit more individually.
Okay, thanks, Barry. And again, Evan, in your case, I've been talking to David Sorge is aware of this project, and we'd probably be looking to your club to kind of lead the charge here a little bit, because you've been involved with the Heart to Heart program for many years. But we've got a couple even smaller projects that we think maybe your 4 clubs could probably partner and do, and it wouldn't be a real burden on you. So I'll probably be talking to you directly about that, because my guess is, you'll probably be the one who could help make it happen. Because you are the largest club there. You are the ones who are mostly involved, and I know that you might be able to get some community support there, because I know you have a substantial Hispanic population there as well. So it could be that getting that message out there that we're doing this might actually get you, some interest from some of your community members. So anyway, I think it's we just want you to take a look at it and see if we can help our neighbors to the south. Okay.
Hey, Ron,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to have to jump off here and go to Ball State and do orientation. So Zoom call. So anyway, I just want to tell everybody bye, and I've enjoyed being on the call.
All right. Thanks, Cindy, and
Thanks.
drive safely, okay?
Okay, to my next Zoom. See y'all.
Yeah, drive to your next
See you,
Zoom.
Cindy.
That's right.
You're gonna move to the next couch.
You got to do what you got to do. Yeah, this is my 5th one. Well, it's not my 5th Zoom today, but it's my 3rd Zoom and my fifth call of 30 minutes or more. So yeah. Okay, guys. Now here's the good news. All right, I have a 2-page agenda. You had a 1-page agenda. We're now moved to page 2, and this is the faster page. So we're on a good pace. So we're good. So Okay, the next one is communication opportunities. This is not more of a question than just to let you know what's going to happen, because everybody else says, why not do it? We're going to set up the opportunity to have what I call quarterly meetings of all the PEs around the district. It's a total voluntary thing. We'll just set a certain date and time, and if you can come, you can come. Send us questions, and we'll pick 2 or 3 major topics that that we want to talk about, and then we'll just kind of take it from there. Keep it to an hour or something like that. Totally voluntary. And the first one will probably happen around the middle of April, because we figure that by that time we're all 6 weeks in, and we'll have questions and issues, and we'll have information about what's happened in the first 6 weeks, what's gone right, what's gone wrong, what the hell did Ron not tell me about that I should have known about, those kind of things. So it'll give us a chance to kind of share some stuff. And again, it'll be strictly voluntary. But and I will tell you, this was not my idea. This was one of the other PE's idea, and I thought it was a great idea. And I've asked everybody, and everybody says great. Now the first PE who brought it up says let's do it monthly, and that got shut down pretty quickly. So we said, okay, quarterly is enough. That's fine. But we need to have one fairly early. Let's not wait till September 30th to have one. Let's do one, in August, so that we can start sharing information. So that, that's coming up. I don't know, Barry, if you've been meeting with your AGs by Zoom or in person or not, but if you're not, I'm encouraging you to do that.
Well, that's one of the things I was hoping that these 2 are pretty easy to get in touch with. So I was hoping that
the other 2 would be there. Yeah.
With all 4. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. But, the one thing about it is, as Barry knows well, but, Carol, you and Evan and Doug may not know this, but, the Knoxville clubs have been doing this live for several years, and they've actually been meeting with their 2 AGs and 6 club presidents. And that's turned out to be very helpful for them, because they've been able to do some projects together that they could have never done singly. And their communication is good and all that. But they have the advantage of physical, proximity being good. You guys are kind of spread out. Zoom makes this so much easier. You don't have to travel. You can pick your time, and that kind of thing. So I think it's a real good tool. So if you can do it, you can do it. And Evan, in your case, you guys are having trouble getting David up there because of his time commitments anyway. That sounds like a real good solution for you guys. And maybe you won't be able to do it monthly, but I think, work on having some Zoom meetings up in your area, because, again, your 2 clubs in Morristown are pretty active, and they keep pretty involved, and, and they're on the move. Your 2 fringe partners to the east and the west are a little more disconnected, so we kind of need to get them in. You know what I'm talking about? So
I did see that Johnny Wayne Ferris is coming in for Jeff City.
Yeah,
he's my neighbor.
Well, we haven't seen Johnny Wayne since Pets Orientation.
Well, and I know about all this. I live in Jefferson City, but I work in Morristown. So I know all the people that are members there, and they had a president a couple of years ago that really tried to get it going, and it's just kind of set stagnant. But when I saw Johnny Wayne was incoming president, I thought, well, maybe I can try to pull them into one of our projects and start getting them involved in something, because I know all of them.
Yeah,
I know all their members. There's only like 10 of them.
Well, all right. Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, so all right. Well, that's good. So we have a person of influence on the phone. I like that. I like that. We need all the help we could get, right? Thank you for volunteering that info for us. So, okay, now I got 3 things to add to this here. Number 1 is, and I don't think I am on anybody. If I'm not on your mailing list for your bulletin, whether you do it by print or by electronic, your weekly stuff or whatever you do for your club members, put me on there so that I know what your club is doing, and I can kind of follow along. And if Barry's not on there, he'd probably like to see that too. So let him know, because we want to know what's going on. Number 2, tell us, and by us I mean myself or Barry or Cindy or any district leader, if there's something that you need Or if we're not meeting your needs, tell us about it right away. Don't sit and stew on it, or say, well, Ron's a nice guy, I'm not going to bother him with that. Well, that's not the point. We're, Barry and Cindy and I and here and everybody on the district level are here to help the clubs. That's the only reason why we have a district, quite frankly, is to help the clubs do the best they can to maximize their experience for their members and to do stuff for their communities. So we're here to help. If we can do something, let us know. If we're not doing something right, let us know. If we are doing something right at the end of the year, make sure that we let Cindy know about it so that she keeps doing it. Because that's always the thing. You'd hate to have something good start and then all of a sudden we forgot to do it again because we weren't talking to each other or something, or we didn't think you guys liked it, or whatever the case might be. So sometimes we find out things that we don't know. Gee, that happens. Happens a lot, actually. Okay. Two other things. Number one, club visioning. I don't know if any of your clubs have done club visioning. This would be a good time to be thinking about it, because Rotary is going to have to change now in the next 6 months to a year. We don't know how, but it's going to have to in some form or fashion. Now, I certainly wouldn't recommend going into club visioning now, because we don't know what this COVID thing is going to do. But what I'm really suggesting is planting the seeds with your clubs to be looking at club visioning sometime down the road, sometime maybe during calendar 2021. Maybe it's at the end of your term, maybe it's early in your successor's term or something like that. But it really can help your club get some focus on what they're doing and where they're going. And again, I didn't look to see. Some of you may have already done it and maybe need to revisit it, or whatever the case may be. The other thing I said, and you guys have all heard me say this previously, is you got to delegate because you can't do it all. I mean, you just can't. So don't try to do it. Okay. Give me a second. I'll be here. Well, the bad news is I'm about to run out of voice. The good news is for you is I'm about to run out of voice. So I get to go quicker than you planned. Okay. A couple of quick things about the district governor's visit. As I said, it's going to be virtual. I don't think I've got any of you early. Let me take a look at when I'm coming to see you, Evan. I know I don't have any berries early. Okay, so none of you guys are early. So, what I'm doing, I'm obviously for the people who I'm supposed to see in July, and it's going to be virtual, I got to make sure I'm not coming in too fast for anybody. But you guys all have time to kind of figure that out, and we have time to work on it. One of the issues that comes from it, of course, is board meetings. Normally the governor likes to meet with your board either before or after, or the governor's visit. Well, when you talk about virtual meetings from with the governor, that isn't going to work too well, because you've got different locations for your board meetings and all that kind of stuff. So we'll have to figure out how we're going to do that. Some clubs are now talking about having all their board meetings virtual from now on, because they can get more board members than they can at a meeting, which I think is kind of interesting. But whatever works, whatever works for your club works for your club. So we'll have to work that out a little bit. The club information sheet that you have is not going to change really. Barry will do the introduction of the governor, because he'll have a short, and I repeat, short introductory speech. So if the speech runs too long, it's Barry's fault, not mine. I mean, I'm talking about the introduction, and for the actual comments and things that we're going to be doing together. I can guarantee you, if you start me on time, we'll get out on time or earlier, because it's going to be. I'm very cognizant of everybody's time, and the last thing that somebody wants is the district governor to ramble any more than he does during these meetings. So it will be concise, and we'll be fine. Let's see. I did already mention about the fact that we're going to, I'm going to try to come back to your club at some form or fashion. Now, my club visit was really designed to be very personal, and really, and especially was going to be, neat for the smaller clubs, because I was going to walk around the room and, all this kind of stuff. But, so a lot of, that was going to happen. And I was going to bring a flip chart and no PowerPoints and that kind of stuff. And so what's going to happen? Now I'm going to do them by Zoom.
PowerPoint.
Yeah, well, there's still not going to be any PowerPoint, but we got to do Zoom. So, we've gone from no tech to, oh my God, this kind of stuff. But we'll make so some of the stuff I was going to do, it's going to be harder, to do. I've got some, there won't be any flip chart to use, because I can't put that behind me and use it, right? That ain't going to work. And I am not going to use PowerPoints or screensaver stuff. There will still be some props, and I can probably make them work. And one of the things that I will do, and I will send you this information later as we get closer, but one thing I'm going to ask you to ask at the beginning of the governor's comments is, I'm going to ask one of your club members to tell me what that club member's favorite fundraising project is. And then I'm going to ask another club member to tell me what that person's favorite service project is. And you'll have a chance to pick out whoever you want to answer those questions, and I'll give you the question, up front, so that everybody's ready, right? Everybody will be ready. You can pick the right person to answer that question. But the idea is to let everybody in your club know what some of your club members think is important to them. Because again, Rotary is about service and about fun. And so let's talk a little bit about your service and your fun. And your club members can talk about it a lot better than I'll ever be able to. So let's give them a chance to say a few words and kind of get up there. Now, the other part about this, here comes your spoiler alert. So this is where you got to be. I'm glad you're sitting down, Doug, and looking, because you got to see this. At the end of the program, you're going to get, you were going to get, you're not going to get it earlier, but you're going to be presented with this teddy bear. Okay. Now, as you can see, this teddy bear has the Heart to Heart logo, so it's kind of a shameless plug for Heart to Heart, but that's not why you're getting this teddy bear. And I will explain at the club meeting why you're getting this teddy bear, because it is tied into my closing comments. But your job with Mr. Teddy is, when you get him or her, whatever you want to call your teddy, you have to keep Teddy out of sight until the governor visit. And then when the governor visit comes, you got to have it so that when you get cued at the end of the program, you got to get Teddy back up there. And Barry, you're going to get one too, but you can't bring yours until I do the Lafayette Club. Okay. Everybody okay with that? And I will explain why you have Teddy and what Teddy's the significance is. Now, I will tell you that Teddy was made in Mexico. He wasn't made in China or any other country. He was made in Mexico. He's been hand delivered from Mexico. I can tell you, you can get 30 of these in a large bag, and it's tight because we had to bring 90 teddies back. So I brought 2 suitcases back, and Rosa Marr from the Bearden Club brought another 30 back in another suitcase on another trip. And I can also tell you that the TSA always checks a bag that's stuffed with teddy bears. So I can't imagine why. Stuffed teddy bears coming from Mexico. Why would they check that?
That's right.
Why would they ever check that? Anyway, so that's the spoiler alert about Teddy. So, just keep Teddy in mind. And one thing I will warn you about is, and this is why you probably want to keep him away, is he's a camera hog. I mean, he's really gotten into this, this Zoom stuff. So I have to keep him away from everything. He's kind of a ham. I got to watch him. He's a dangerous guy. So we're going to have a little fun with our president's visit, I hope, at least, or our governor's visit, to the best that we can. All right, I'm not going to talk about entering goals, because I know you all know how to enter goals, and if you don't, Barry knows how to help you enter goals. You got plenty of time to do it again. Carol, you're in good shape because you've already got your stuff lined up, and Doug, Doug, you've got Cindy and Barry in your club, so you don't have a choice. And
yeah, that's right.
And Evan's got Doug Baldus in his club, so he doesn't have a choice. So I'm really speaking to the choir here. That's why I'm not going to spend any time talking about it. So, All right, a couple of things. I told you I was going to send you one more email, and I know you've gotten a lot of emails from me, but tomorrow morning you'll get an email, and then we'll have this agenda with the notes of the things that I told you on it. So this will cover everything that, that you heard, today, basically. So that will be part of the email. Attached to the email will be another copy of the description of the 100-100 program, a little prettier copy, but no real changes. And then you'll see a list of the 15 projects. That doesn't really impact you much if you guys decide to go with Barry's plan. Evan, you might want to take a look at it and look at some of those. I looked at a couple I thought might be good for you guys on the smaller end, smaller than the one Barry's looking at. So if you want to look at that, maybe we can talk and maybe think about locking it in early or something to keep somebody else from grabbing it. So
Yeah.
And then Barry has a copy of each project application. So again, Evan, if you say, hey, I want to look at this, Barry, or I could send you that, and you could actually look at the project application to see what it's doing, and not just rely on that list. The other thing on the email will be the survey about the district conference, and all you have to do then, but it's part of the email, so all you got to do is fill it out and send it right back. It's not an attachment thing where you got to download it, copy it, make it up, and then scan it and send it back. No, just fill it out on email and send it back. At least I hope it works that way. That's the way we're trying to do it. So, you guys have any other questions or comments before I give you my 2.5 minute wrap up?
No, sir.
Doug's good. Evan's good. Barry's good. Carol's good.
I'm good.
Everybody's ready to eat supper except for Doug. He's going to play ball, or he's going to watch ball, or whatever it is he's going to be doing.
Hey, I'm getting ready to coach it.
All right, that's right. He's got his fun work to do now. So, all right. First things first, guys. Number one, take a deep breath. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Well, this too shall pass. Number two, stay positive. And you've seen me say that in several of my things I've sent out to you. Rotary is a very positive thinking organization. I'm a pretty positive thinking guy. Barry's a very positive thinking guy, and Cindy they're very positive thinking people. You guys are all positive thinking people. Well, this is a positive thinking district. Think positive. Things are going to be fine. And if you think, I really believe that if you are a positive thinker, better things happen to you. And if you think positively, your club will take that hint from you, and they will think positively, and everybody gets more done. So if you stay positive, everybody will follow along, and you'll be in great shape. Have confidence in your team. You've got, a lot of you have experienced board members who are going to be there, to help you. All three of you, Hartsville's done a lot of nice job, nice work over the past several years in terms of, I remember when Karen was governor 15 years ago. Carol, I think your club was only about half the size it is now. Yeah, and so they've done a wonderful job. Doug, you and Evan have people in your club that can help you. They've been longtime Rotarians, and you've got other newer members and other folks that are going to help you. Your team will help you. You'll be fine. Every member's needs are different. I think COVID has really shown this out. The example I've been using is when Fred doesn't show up for a club meeting, you assumed either he was out of town on business or on vacation, or maybe he was sick or something. But now, if Fred isn't there for a meeting, you don't know whether it's because of those two or whether or not his computer doesn't work, or he doesn't know how to use his computer, or he doesn't have good enough bandwidth to get it to work. There's all sorts of weird things. Or maybe none of that is applicable, but he doesn't feel comfortable in coming to your meeting, and he doesn't want to come unless he can come, right? He doesn't want to do it virtually. So, we just have to be kind of sensitive to what everybody's needs are, and just kind of do the best we can. So whatever you're doing in your club in terms of outreach to the people who aren't showing up is really important right now, and try to get your board members and your other club members to help you reach out to people. And really right now you need to be doing it, especially over the next 4 or 5 weeks, Because some clubs, some clubs haven't met since March. And, and if they're not reaching out to their folks, they've got some issues. And even if they have been, you still need to be, keeping up with stuff, because this COVID thing, as we know, changes every day, and we don't know what's going to happen. We just need to, keep in touch with everybody. And even though we're facing what might be the most challenging time for PEs since World War II, and what might be the most challenging time ever for AGs, because there weren't any AGs back in the 40s, Barry, I don't think. So this is the first for the AGs, I think. So we're dealing with something really new for all of us, but I mean, we're going to be fine, because we have, in my opinion, a really incredibly strong group of president-elects, including you three. I've got a lot of confidence in you. We have the best assistant governors in our 2 zones, and that's not just blowing smoke, because I can tell you we got 31 districts in our 2 zones, and every district governor wants our assistant governors, because our assistant governors are connected to their clubs. They work well with their governors. They work well with their clubs. They do a lot of work. They're really knowledgeable about Rotary. And of course, in our case, they're all great people too, and that's, we get the, best of all worlds. And, you're, Carol, you and Doug, you've got, Barry back, and so he's an experienced AG, and he's a good guy, and he knows his stuff. And Evan, I feel badly for you, because, David Sorge is a great guy, and he knows a lot about Rotary, but because of his work, he can't get up there. I mean, he runs a hotel in Pigeon Forge. Well, that's, and it's his own hotel. Well, that's not been a real good match for him and you guys. So it's a little bit tough, but he does know a lot about Rotary. And I think, especially if you guys can do some more stuff virtually, it might be a better way for him to, to be able to help you guys out. But having all those people, really helps success for you and your clubs. But the big thing is, we got great Rotarians in our clubs. I mean, you look at what our Rotarians have done over the years in terms of how they've, reacted to the challenge of polio plus, and even, more recently, the fires over in Sevier County and over close to Evans neighborhood, and the tornadoes that have hit, twice in the past 3 months in our district. And, our Rotarians have always stepped up, because we live, in Central and East Tennessee. We've got in my mind, some of the best Rotarians in the world. And for me, that's a wonderful blessing. And I think for you guys, it's a wonderful blessing, because you've got good people with you all the time. Yeah. So thank you guys for leading your club. Thank you, Barry, for being an AG, a great AG, good asset for your clubs and for me. So thank you for that. But mostly thank you guys for just being Rotarians, because as a Rotarian, you make a difference in the world, and what you do matters. So thank you guys for that. Everybody ready to go home?
Thank you.
Doug's ready to go practice. I can see he's ready. Evan, you good? Ready to roll? Barry, you ready to roll? All right.
Ready to go.
Here we go. I have the magic button that says end meeting for all. And so it's going to go out in 3, 2, 1. See you guys. Have a great night.
See y'all.